what anyone else expected.
When Jackie Love was away in 2020 spring for the majority, he was streaming so much Ezreal. This has become one of his best champions. The fans will know him as a Draven main, but he pockets in with this as well. This is a great meta for Jackie Love to be alive, while for BLG changing up the pick and ban, you have a Kai'Sa alongside a set flex.
And this Kai'Sa seems to be starting to become a bit of a staple when Aphelios isn't in the mix. Kind of a similar scaling level to the
Graves.
Ezreal on the other side. With that Yuumi and Kai'Sa getting the Trundle for himself, we'll see what the jungle lock-in could be.
Are you ready? It's going to be Graves. There's Ignite Smite there. That's something that was done the other day by, it was Kanavi from JDG, and has been actually really popular by SOFM and solo queue at the moment. So with Graves still available, there it is.
Graves going to be locked in here for best 16. And obviously with his Nidalee banned away, this is kind of a similar style of champion where you really can power farm through the jungle. You can do a lot of counter jungling, but you also scale exceptionally well into the later stages of the game. I'm curious where that set is going to go, whether we see Shinmo taking that in the bottom lane, but we've seen it flex mid, we've seen it flex top. We've even seen it in the jungle as well. It really could be going anywhere.
Wait and see. Second ban phase is going to be coming through, and the silence taken away from Knight, as we saw on the highlight reel. You really don't want him piloting that champion, but you could say that about 10 others. Zoe's still available. The Cassidy is like a ban from himself too. You can't limit Knight. So banning towards mid might not be the go.
Yeah, it's where it gets very difficult, but we could end up having things like the Azir and Corki coming out. That's something that Fofo has fallen back on a lot of times. Zoe banned away. That is the champion that people often associate with Knight directly. That is kind of the signature, but it's something we've seen less and less of out of Knight. He's not played it at all this split. And when you look at what Knight has been playing, it's things like your Orianna, things like Diana, Lissandra, even Akali. So realistically, it's difficult to predict what direction Knight is going to go.
With a composition like this, let's think. Let's put on our thinking caps. We're going to see the Galio locked in here for BLG. They already have a lot of all in with Set and Galio paired up. Now for top esports solo lanes, they could just do an IG and go Orianna, Jace. 369 plays a hell of a lot of Jace as well, and you just talked about Knight's favorite champion at the moment. We haven't seen a Nico in about 10 years.
This is a very LPL pick if it does get locked in. We'll wait and see if it does, and there is going to be. So you expect that in the mid lane from Knight. There's a possibility 369 takes it top, but I don't expect that to be the case. Okay. Renekton going to be locked in as well.
And that'll be 369 piloting the SKT Renekton skin as well. It's his favorite skin. Every time 369's on Renekton, it is the, I think it's the SKT, is it Duke? Is it Duke's skin? The Renekton one top?
I don't know. I haven't got a clue, mate.
They won Worlds for 3 years, and I mean, it's hard
They've had a lot of top laners over the years, okay?
They have, really.
Look, ultimately, pool party Renekton is the best Renekton skin. You can spam the B, it's amazing. We've got a Jace that's going to be locked in for King in here, so big opportunity to punish 369 at the top lane.
Do you want a fun fact? Kingen has only played one of every champion. This, again, is the first time playing Jace. So, Maokai, Maud, Renekton, Ornn, Camille, and Hecarim. Now Jace. He doesn't play it more than once.
Yep, Kingen, a man of many talents up in the top lane, but importantly, he's a lane-dominant player. He's someone, especially on a Jace, you expect him to be pushing aggressively and trying to make an advantage for himself. But we've seen Kai'Sa doesn't really tend towards the bottom lane. And especially with an Ezreal Yuumi, there is absolutely no reason to. You can very much expect Kai'Sa to try and punish Kingen when he does go aggressive with this Jace.
And Knight will join him. This is what we've been seeing. Top esports head towards the top side, bring Knight in, who on the Nico can play around with the, what do we call it? The camouflage. I believe the passive ability.
The inherent glamour.
Is it actually? Yeah.
There you go.
You should be a play-by-play.
I've done it once or twice. I've dabbled.
A couple of times. What's the Q called again? Starburst. Like the lolly.
Blooming burst, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, something like that. W is...
It's Bramble Barbs?
No, Tangle Barbs is E.
Tangle Barbs, that's it.
Because W is shape splitter. Shape splitter. Something splitter. Shape splitter. And then Pop Blossom. It's been a while, folks. I'm sorry. I have another play-by-play on the desk here.
When I'm in that situation, I just sneakily get my phone out and quickly Google it rather than just...
I told you I'm going to be honest with the audience all the time. How dare I don't use a mobile phone on desk? What's going to game one?
What is a mobile phone? I've never heard of one of those.
All right, BLG.
Come on, give us an intro.
What do you have in your back pocket? Because this comp, this all-in potential.
What do you have in your front pocket? That's my question.
Show us something.
Where are your keys? Which pocket? Left or right? Let me know in the chat.
Top Esports are undefeated, though. This is the biggest part. The Top Esports have only dropped an individual game to OMG. Apart from that, it's been 2-0s across the board. Are they still the best team in the LPL? We have a hard yes. And we're looking towards Top Esports to keep their run going on towards playoffs.
Yeah, ultimately, the expectation coming into this series is very heavily favored towards Top Esports. BLG on the other side of the board with a bit of a mountain to climb, but let's at least try and figure out how they're going to try and achieve this one. As you can see, the Glacial Augment in the mid lane there for Knight.
Unsealed
Relatively
spellbook.
standard on the Nico. As you can set it up with the GLP. You can even go Twin Shadows if you want to as well. Pot Blossom, very difficult to land unless you have ways to set it up, such as those abilities.
I was just noticing Shinmo taking Unsealed Spellbook as a support. Not often you see this. We've seen a lot of Phase Rush set, and that's the popularity is you get the Dead Man's Plate as your first item. You run across the map, and you're pretty unkillable, even as a support. Shinmo piloting Ignite as well. You're going to have the bonus of adding an extra heal, an exhaust, you name it. This cast is going to start topside. Also topside start here for best 16 on Krugs first is an interesting clear.
Yeah, and despite this, the Ignite that he was hovering during Champ Select, he is going to go with the Flash Smite.
Ah, true.
Understandably so, honestly. I feel like, especially as a jungler in pro play, so often you need that Flash to potentially steal away the Dragon Soul, or like Soul Point, deny it from your opponent, try and steal away a Baron. It happens so often in the LPL, it's almost criminal not to.
Ooh, nice trade here from Shinmo, but remember, it is a set. He can't really run away. As Yanja. Yep, there you go. Jackie Love going to pot up after that as well. It's been a while since we've seen a Nico in the mid lane. Knight going the Glacial Augment. Now, when I say a while, I mean spring. Rookie was the person to pull this out the most.
Yeah. It's kind of a rookie classic. We saw the Shy playing it a lot as well.
That's
we also saw Mole playing it a lot. In the bottom lane.
Oh, no.
Alongside Y4's Pike.
Oh, that was
that
not
was
a happy
different
memory.
story.
That was definitely not good. There's 16
mean,
down the bottom side.
There was one or two moments that looked good. Rookie got his pentakill.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned the Shy, but like the Shy hasn't played at top since MSI. MSI and Rift Rivals of 2019. Rift Rivals was when it was IG versus SKT. It was Khan versus the Shy. And his on-hit Nico absolutely dominated the lane. So it's been a while since we've seen that one. And I miss that on-hit Nico when she had busted attack speed in her W. Plus the magic damage you got was pretty free low, especially for a bottom lane.
So once again, let's kind of just acknowledge the fact we have a Galio in the game. So once we hit that level 6 mark, expect BLG to start to put their foot forward and try and make some things happen. Set as well, exceptionally good in these early engages.
Let's fight. Pillar onto wings. My scuttle. That's done from Casa.
Yep, Cars are going to be able to take that.
What were you were telling us all something. We're about to learn.
I was just saying that expect around these dragons, with a Galio on the side of BLG, they can certainly fight. And especially when you look at both sides of the board, AD carries are going to be at a similar lack of power, essentially, during the early games. So there's no huge deficit to fighting with the Kai'Sa as compared to the Ezreal.
We talk about this with set supports a lot, but it has been a bit about roaming, but we've got a Kai'Sa in this lane, so might make it a little bit difficult, especially with the chase potential from Jackie Love and Yu Yanja. You think about the all-in that we talked about in Champion Select. I mean, Galio set, followed up by the damage that's going to come through from King and Best 16 and Wings. I like it from BLG.
It's important to talk about the opposition as well from Top Esports. Obviously, Ezreal not really going to do all of too much until he gets 2 items under his belt. But when you look at the mid laner and the jungler, Nico is very much a lane bully. She's something that's going to come on really into her own around the mid game and does exceptionally well when you're trying to engage onto her. If you're running into her, the Pot Blossom, the Tangle Barbs are going to be set up for success in a much more significant way. So if Top Esports are able to position proactively around the dragon, they can set Knight up for success.
You know what? Fofo and Shinmo are going to run into her, so that works out. But the poke, the range, as Shinmo's been found out, just press the attack trundle. The shield from the Haymaker is great. Best 16 will intervene, but the rest of Top Esports are moving up, and that could just be Dragon. Shinmo way too low. He's going to have to back away.
Yanja just going to get rid of the last cone. Does not have a lot of health on that cat, but he's going to be able to sneak away on the recall. And everybody going to reset. Bear in mind, this is an Infernal Drake for the first Drake of the game. And I'm curious how much BLG are going to... I was going to say how much they're going to commit to this. TP from Fofo says they are looking to try and push the issue. But then again...
Okay.
Maybe not.
He doesn't want to miss mid. He's going to go back. That's fair. I mean, you're going to TP to mid turret anyway, so...
I'm just surprised that he TP'd into the jungle towards the Drake instead of just going there.
Oh, Kingen knocked him the wrong way. Has to flash Cull the Meek with Dominus. That was a mistake by Kingen. Well punished by 369. All he has to do is hit him and now walk away.
Yeah, that's going to cost him his flash as well. So big mistake there from Kingen. And in that matchup, as Jace, you got to keep him at arm's length. But with that Ninja Tabby coming on in, Jace is not going to do that much damage yet this early on into the game. So without flash, there is actually potential that 369 can catch Kingen out, especially if Castle moves towards the top side. We
are just looking on the map at the response from burning the TP, moving back to lane after Knight got the shove. The Dragon goes down first over to the side of top Esports. And 369 now going to sandwich in. Fofo has the ulti and the flash to get away. The Shield of Durand finds a target onto 369. They turn for the Justice Punch. 3 members here. That pillar. Placement beautiful. As top Esports force them away once again. And BLG keep looking for picks, but unable to find it.
Yeah, not quite able to collapse in the way that they'd wanted to. Top Esports, they wanted to see if they could contest that Scuttle Grab. It's not going to happen for them. So all things considered, we end up with Top Esports just having one Drake to start this game off. The Herald will likely be the next objective for both of these teams. And with the Nico, I'd like to see Top Esports try and force the issue on that one. The jungle is available on the top side for Casa as well. And he could potentially move up and try and set 369 up on the top side as well.
Would you like to hear about why Casa is Johnny Mo?
Yeah, right? Tell me.
Real in-depth
story
jokes
time
here. Yeah. So, in Kill Bill, Johnny Mo is this bald-headed guy who leads, you know, the Yakuza, right? The bad people. But
classic Yakuza behavior.
You see him after some people get killed and they bring in all the boys and girls actually. Oh man, there's some real fighting going on. And then he screams at the camera. And that's what 369 does. Sorry, that's what Casa does. Excuse me, I'm looking at 369. He has to flash. Maybe it's not time for story time. The flash here with end of the line. Turns with Dominus. Oi! Pillars up. King is not going to go down. 369 just says howdy. As Casa actually going to flash in as well. Gets the phase rush. Or sorry, what's the phase rush from? That's from Kingen. No, it's not. Where is phase rush? Why don't I see it? Anyway.
Best 16?
Maybe. No, maybe it was just a frozen domain. Apologies, folks.
It's okay. We forgive.
We got there in the end.
Ultimately, it's a 2v2 that just is going to be a few summoners burnt. Both flashes on the side of top Esports. There's only one flash for best 16. But it does mean that Caster's now confident enough to start this Herald off. But with Shinmo moving up from the bottom side, BLG potentially could set up to contest for this one. You've got the Galio. You always have to bear in mind that Galio in those kind of early skirmishes, especially with ultimates on cooldown, especially 369s, that can be a little bit more difficult.
So, more importantly, he screams at the camera, and Casa literally is hard to kill. He's the big boss. He's the leader of this team. I'm sorry, I had to finally finish it. 369's normally the one that dies. But not as much as the Shy. The analogy would work better with the Shy. Kingen's behind this. 1300. Can you steal it? Almost.
Oh, nearly. Casa blocks it with his behind right there.
A little stolen.
But
nice
so it's now important to see where Casa is going to take this Herald, because it's going to dictate a lot of who he really wants to be winning this game at, but also who he has the actual opportunity to set up with it, because it's you have to have priority in the lane to be able to get to the tower with the Herald.
Best 16. This is how he trades. But Casa's incoming. All right.
Slow down, but he gets away on a blast cone here. So just a nice little punish. He knew that the Herald was taken on the top side. He knew that Casa would either have to walk all the way down or recall. So just nice presence of mind from Best 16 to capitalize on that one, grabbing himself a red buff. And it means that he gets to take away his own jungle as well. And this is the strength of Graves. This is one of the reasons that you picked it up in the first place, is that CS deficit that you can see starting to build between the junglers.
But a slower game. Much slower game building here. Surprised top Esports, if we just talk about how they've played, especially during spring, especially how top Esports have played last year as well with Knight in the roster. Individual lane bonuses transitioned into fights that top esports know they can win. Also, a bit of a skill test, as you'd expect with a team like IG. But that comes out of the likes of Jackie Knight, even 369 as a player.
And it's important to remember as well that top esports, while they have this raw talent on the roster, Jackie getting some good damage there, they do also play a much slower style more recently. It feels like League of Legends in general is tending towards a slower game at the moment, and top esports quite happy to lean into that, quite happy to play much more for team fights.
Okay, Shinmo spotted out again. You say that, but LCK right now, skirmishing a lot more. I was having this discussion, I think it was with Lyric, where after MSC, a lot's changed for the LCK, but for top esports as well, and other teams that were at MSC, you can see they've slowed down a bit, and they've built towards what a style of LCK is. So I feel like we've shifted gears and swapped places. As Carson might be in a bit of trouble, but he has a Yuumi on top with the last chapter available, but held on to. Rift Herald gets a charge, but I don't think it spreads over the gold. As this chase.
So Carson was the only one that got any gold from that Rift Herald, importantly. They wanted to give it to Jackie Love, but a good contest from BLG means he can't get the gold. Now onto the Drake.
All right. BLG get fought here. It's already a 1k gold lead from top esports. The poke down, but just going to leave it at that. And Dragon going over. Mountain Rift. And Fofo and Kingen working together as bros moving to mid lane. But Knight, he has himself the hose. He can clear these waves and move away. As 369 didn't join, he's going to get so much turret plating in the meantime.
Yeah, they're happy to take this trade, honestly. Top esports, ultimately, what did they trade here? 1 Cloud Drake for 5 turret plates across the map. You take that trade every day of the week.
Let's Pop Blossom down, but this is not kill. This is just pressure onto Fofo. He'll walk away.
Okay, I got too excited.
I know.
It is Galio at the end of the day.
You see in the mid lane, Knight's actually ahead by 20 CS. Protobelt for the hose.
And, I mean, it's Galio, right? This is the kind of thing you expect. Nico is a bit of a lane bully in of herself, and then you've got Galio that ultimately is just looking to neutralize the lane. So you expect Knight to find an advantage. Also, generally, watching Knight, you expect him to find an advantage, even in neutral matches.
Bot is getting dunked, meanwhile. Shinmo's tried to roam a couple of times, and Kasa, you saw, pushed him out of lane 1.5 times. So Shinmo at level 6, Yuyan Jar at 7, Jackie Love at 8. They've gotten 4 bits of turret plating in this bottom side, and that gold lead is built up by the solo laners added with Jackie Love of top esports. So in a way, we're back to normal top esports with individual lane leads.
And when you look at the bottom lane from BLG, Wings and Shinmo here on the Kai'Sa Set combo, like Set in the bottom lane functions as an all-in support champion. He really wants to fight. Kai'Sa doesn't particularly. Even with the Hail of Blades, you typically aren't necessarily an early game champion. You kind of are looking towards the later game team fights, looking towards 2 and 3 items. So it's a little bit of a disjointed combo for the laning phase, but the reason they picked this set is to have some form of engage and some form of disengage for later on in the game. So ultimately, they do fall behind when it comes to plates in the bottom lane, but they're picking this stuff to scale into the game later.
This roam around the set for the meanwhile. Shinmo has swiftness nice and early. Yuanjia are going to drop a ward and spot them out. The rotation, kind of back and forth. What are you doing, BLG? Pings are going down. Top esports will respond.
So BLG just looking for potentially a play onto Jackie Love. But they're not going to be able to find it for now, as Top esports have responded on the bottom half of the map as well. Pings on towards Shinmo here in the tri-brush. I don't think much is going to happen, though.
We're back to top. We got first item here for Renekton as well. 369. I told you he was going to pick the SKT skip. Every time. So I'm not sure what the relationship with, but 369 is the kind of player who, if you haven't seen, looks up to the Shy. I'm not sure if that's the case anymore, because I honestly think he's playing better than the Shy.
Look, I just want to quickly point out, while it's on the screen, the turret plate difference. 1,280 to 0.
Yep.
This is the strength of top esports. We talked about them as... Hang on, we got to fight.
Yep, Arcane shift forward. Wing slowed down. It will force out the heal from... Maybe not. We saw Knight actually flash off our screen in the mid lane. Not sure what happened there. I think Best 16 came in for a gank. While BLG getting aggressed on the bottom side as well. This turret not long for this world. Arcane shift away from Shinmo. And he'll just be poked down. TP in the backside. This is Fofo. Kasa trying to zone them off. Can't get near with that shielded round. Now Fofo has to back away. True Shot Barrage with the whole team. Zones them back as well. The pillar placement again
beautiful.
with the final chapter. 3 members targeted up. Poke follows. BLG will survive, but this turret will go down because of it.
In the meantime, the top lane is kind of battling away over the Herald, and it's going to be King and forcing 369 out of lane. 369 moves into the mid lane, though. Top Esports could easily move on over and try and get a second tower out of this.
Has to use the heroic entrance. Uses an escape. Not slowed down by Knight, but the flash forward from Castle wants to take this with the Yuumi on top. As slowed down, prowling projectile, really nice. Yuyanja demounts as well to stop that Justice punch. It's first blood over to Knight.
That was beautiful from Yuyanja. Jumps off of his shoulder just to stop Fofo getting away. And this is why we praise Top Esports. You give them an inch, they will take a mile. We talk about them as strong laners. Look at the CS leads across the board. When you talk about how good they are at controlling the early game, they were so far ahead in plates, and now 3,000 gold ahead.
And just about 16 minutes in the game, you've got another Dragon coming up in 30 seconds as well. And with the Mountain Soul and the Rift, feels pretty good if you're that Ezreal or the Yuumi, sorry, the Nico, pretty much the same champion. Majai's picked up for Knight after getting first blood as well.
Playing Galio into Trundle really sucks, because that pillar is going to happen every single time he tries to go for a Justice Punch. Just look at Yuyanja here. Wait for the Justice Punch. Pops off, ruins everything for Fofo, and guarantees the kill.
16, if he got hit by Tangle Bell, it's probably dead there as well. As another pillar comes through, and now the jungle under pressure. Caster doesn't care. He's 2 levels behind, because Best 16 is losing the trade. Has to flash away at minimal health, while Dragon now spawns, and Knight dressed as the Crocodile is looking for prey.
I really wish it didn't change the name bar on Spectator.
It shouldn't.
It
every
really
time.
Confuses me every time.
And it shouldn't change the face in the minimap either.
It's fooling everyone.
Ah.
The inherent glamour. I think that's what it's called. Pretty sure.
Probably right.
Maybe it's inherited glamour. I'm not sure.
Jackie Love taunting. Alright. Jackie Love's massive again on Ezreal, by the way. This happens every time. And we talk up Top Esports quite a lot. You can see why. This game hasn't been so blood heavy. It's just been so heavy on macro, and Top Esports controlling the map once again. They've taken 2 turrets. They've taken turret plating worth the value of 1,200 gold. They've got a Rift Herald there, and they're looking for picks onto Shinmo, trying to catch him out of position.
And this is why I get so excited about the prospects for Top Esports, is because we have seen them playing super fast, super aggressive series, but we also see them play this style, and they look great on both. We could have BLG contesting for this Herald, though.
But if they do, will they survive? Pop Blossom available. Knight is... No, he's not 2 levels ahead because he's imitating Casa. Great job. 12 is the level. In fact, it's 369 onto 3. The Killer Instinct used. Takes up all the damage, though. 369 will trade his life, but that's pretty worthwhile at this point with the Herald. However, it is a shutdown to Wings to give BLG something to play through.
And I love this. They give the Herald over to Jackie Love as well. He gets the enhanced recall. But importantly, he'll get any gold from a tower that is able to finish off. We'll see where he's going to decide to go with that one at the end of the day. But now another fight going. I mean, ultimately the fight was even. He'd probably take the kill on a top laner over support. If something else was to happen later, because nothing else happens off the back of this one, it's just going to be a kill either way. So the Herald is the only objective.
But the thing is, another stack for Knight. He got an assist. 4 on the Magi's. He just bought it outright. Had nothing on the Dark Seal. And just bought a flat-out Magi's. There's the confidence here of this mid laner who is 40 CS ahead of Fofo in this game. Is not level 10. He's actually level 12, level 13 as soon as he gets out of the disguising of 369. There you go on the left-hand side of your screen. 2 levels up on his lane opponent. Is heading towards Aether Wisp for the third item, you can call it. And mid just winning out wholeheartedly while bottom lane's doing the same. And goal over to Knight.
Now, over the next few minutes, you expect Top Esports to start to pick up the pace, because you've got this Nico that is very much a mid-game champion, going to struggle a little bit later on into the game. You've got things like the Renekton as well that is notorious for falling off in the late game. And Jackie Love is starting to hit his stride now. His Mana Moon is going to get close to stacking up here as we get towards the 20-minute mark. He's already got his Frozen Gauntlet. And now can drop a Herald in this bottom lane to force a tier 2.
This top side inner is just going to drop immediately. Inhibitor under threat. Look at the pings from Kingen. I mean, he's pushing mid. Top Esports are going to back off. They're not going to challenge this against BLG. The Herald will go down after the shove. They back away and they lose absolutely nothing for it.
Yeah, and that's just very nicely done here from Top Esports. Set up their Herald play, no response from BLG. And backing away, not trying to over push for this one, because ultimately the odds of you managing to finish an inhibitor off of the back of that push is pretty slim. You're going to get collapsed upon. You don't have that much vision in their jungle, so just take the tower, back away, reset.
Muramata and Yomu's versus Blade of the Rune King and Black Cleaver here for 369 now. So a build that we often don't see in the LPL. So you just don't see Blade of the Rune King Renekton's. Well, we've got the Mystic Shadow, what's it called? The spooky ghost item picked up for Knight.
It's called Twin Shadows.
Twin Shadows, that's it. Still
Spooky
mystical.
Ghost is the better name, though, that is for sure.
Yeah.
But when you look at Jackie Love, he's got that Vamp Scepter, he's going for that Death Stance build.
Just the usual.
That'll be the point at which you basically can't beat them in a team fight for a couple of minutes. A lot of pressure here.
At least 15.
A lot of pressure here going to be on Best 16 as well, because he's got lethality. He's going to do a ton of damage during these fights if he can survive.
Yep. Kingen could die here as well, as Jackie Love only Arcane Shift forward. Shinmo's going to be pillared out back into the enemy team. Shinmo, the ulti doesn't work out. It's a good knock-up by Fofo, but Top Esports are full health. The Shield of Duran works justice. As end of the line combined with collateral damage does a bit. The poke's starting to come out of BLG, but you have a Yuumi who's in a good position. I
don't know why BLG are trying to start a fight at this point in the game. You've got a Kai'Sa, you've got a Jace. You're going to scale exceptionally well, especially with that Graves as well. You don't need to fight right now, and ultimately, Jackie Love is not the target. He's Ezreal. He's got a Yuumi. He's going to get out of your in-game.
They're starting Baron. Now, this is going to be slow, but we'll see if Top Esports can lure in BLG as you are looking towards Knight, who's just going to solo kill Wings, and BLG are now stuck between him and the rest of Top Esports. Flash here for the pillar. Down will go Fofo, and a double kill over to Knight. Those Magi stacks are now nice and handy.
And Knight builds his Magi's every single game and gets it stacked every single game. 10 seconds until the Drake.
Uh-oh, he's going to get another stack. Not True Shot Barrage flashed away from.
Nice.
In the nick of time.
I want to see a replay of that.
Kingen found Castle somehow, so Baron will be stopped if it was ever thought about starting.
So a nice little redeeming factor there for BLG ultimately with the jungler gone. Maybe Best 16 could just start this Drake off himself. This stops Top Esports getting on to Soul Point. Ultimately, the Dragon was the end goal of all of that action from Top Esports, so a bit unfortunate, honestly, to get caught out in that situation from Kai'Sa.
Best 16 spotted out. No TP being used, but 369's here. Knight's going to back away on a ward anyway. No interest of competing with that one. So a nice small trade for BLG as we look at this again.
So Wings just overstays. Pop Blossom not even needed
Didn't even need it, yeah.
And then, obviously, the rest of the fight is just them following up, finishing things off. I want to see how Kai'Sa ends up going down. So Kingen has a control ward. Actually, 2v1s this. Gets a kill onto Kai'Sa. And obviously, Nico, when everything's on cooldown, your cooldowns are pretty long.
Final chapter's going to be used here. Jackie Love ready to True Shot Barrage and picks up a kill. And this one feels like it's done as that pillar. Yep, Kai'Sa's on point at the moment, and Top Esports are as well.
Yeah, I said the pillar is going to ruin Galio's life across the course of this game. You can deny the Justice Punches, you can interrupt him using his ultimate to escape as well.
I mean, 369 has solo kill potential here. Dominus is not available, but at this point, will it be needed? Flashes away, maybe. Dodges from Wings. That W could have brought him in as the rest of Top Esports are doing the Baron. Knight is zoning them off. You can see it's Kai'Sa and Jackie Love here, while TP in the backside. Shinmo over the wall has Hex Splash. Best 16 now spotted out.
This is no Aphelios, though. This is a slow Baron. Knight trying to take on the fight in the meantime.
I mean, he can. He's quite huge. The True Shot Barrage tags Wings on the backside as well. Kingen repositioning. 3K, another TP. Finding his markers. Best 16 zoned away. Shinmo brings in Fofo as well. The hero's entrance, the poke into the back of the pit. They need to steal this away. Kai'Sa waiting for the smiters. Kai'Sa will eventually... Nope, he hasn't smited it yet, but that'll go down. Pop Blossom into the pit secures it. Out of all things, while Jackie Love deals with the rest of BLG. Wings and Kingen are in one-shot territory. And Top Esports are not giving BLG any chances this game.
Yeah, beautifully done by Top Esports. Keep BLG at arm's reach. Best couldn't get even close to the pit. And honestly, I feel like BLG kind of overcommitted to trying to contest this, but this is exactly what Top Esports do. They put you in these horrible situations where it's like, okay, if we contest Baron, we lose the fight. If we don't contest Baron, we just give them Baron. It's so difficult to figure out how to find an objective elsewhere on the map, how to punish Top Esports with their immaculate macro.
And once again, Jaculov has a majority of the team's percentage of damage. Not only that, before this he was averaging 38% of top esports damage. That's an average. This game he has 45%. That stat goes up yet again. Jaculov alongside Yuya and Ja are monsters who took on the whole team alongside Knight.
And Jaculov jumping forward over the wall, he knows that he has to be the one to force people out of this fight and make the plays happen. I'm disappointed he jumped towards King in there instead of towards Wings, but ultimately forces them away, gets 2 kills for himself, and sets up the Baron for the rest of his team.
And how do you stop top esports at this point? This game feels like it is in the trash here for BLG. Looking towards Wings, looking towards the engage they set up. Never got the ball rolling, and Knight now has the Leandri's Torment, the 3-item Nico with the Magi's at 20 stacks. Is just near unbeatable.
Look, we set it up about 5 minutes ago, right? Top esports, as they hit 2 items, they're going to really try and push the advantage. It's exactly what they've done. They know how to really abuse power spikes, and that is what sets apart top esports from other teams. We talk about them being really strong laners, but they go, look, we can just get small advantages during the laning phase, and when we hit our spikes, that's when we're going to put the foot down. And now they're just going to take another inhib while this attempted play happens in the top lane from BLG.
I mean, 369, they were looking 3 people there. Now backing away, they lose inhibitor turret.
They realize that even if they get a kill on 369, if there's 3 of them there, they lose the game. Now they're going to lose an inhibitor for an attempted play that realistically was never going to achieve anything.
I think this one is already lost here. BLG need to pull something out of the hat. Shinmo going to be caught out, but everything misses in the end. All they need is a pillar from Casa. He's going to get sped on up, and Shinmo's going to get put into the corner, healed up, but not slowed down. He's out for now. But 369 has a mighty fine wave traveling towards the top side, and Jaculov only goes forward. That's why he's go-go. He's crazy.
Yeah, he is not afraid, especially against the set. Like, who's going to punish him? There are no hooks. There's no hard CC that you can get even close to Jaculov with. And he has free reign to do whatever he wants.
And Shinmo's just going to die. And so will the rest of BLG. Top wave coming in. Baron is gone, but that won't stop top esports. Once again, Jaculov goes forward, not punished. Knight gets a nice Tangle Barb. The Pop Blossom silences best 16. And onto the turrets, top esports will go. For BLG, there were small moments in this game, but top esports remain dominant. And Jaculov with so much damage, once again, will nail this one home.
That fight was already over, but did you see the cleanse from Jaculov? Literally within a single frame of the taunt out of Fofo. That was just a beautifully clean game from top esports.
It's another one to put in the back pocket. Top esports continue their run. A 1-0 to start off this series, and BLG, I asked, what could they bring to the table?